The Chicago Bulls absolutely collapse in the fourth quarter of this game in a loss to the Detroit Pistons. They were in it throughout three quarters, but that fourth quarter, man, that was bad. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content today, y'all. And yeah, man, listen, the Chicago Bulls, they completely fall apart in the fourth quarter of this game, and it just that's what stood out the most. They got outscored 32-16 in the fourth quarter of this game. It was a close game up until that point. Now the Detroit Pistons did have the lead, but it was still a very close game up until that point. And unfortunately, that's just the way that the cookie crumbles in regards to it. Like the Chicago Bulls, they dealt with the physicality correctly for a large portion of this game, but that fourth quarter, man. When you look at the start of the fourth quarter, when the third quarter ended, the Chicago Bulls were up actually by one. They were up by one going into the fourth quarter. The Detroit Pistons come out with a 10-3 run to take an 86-80 point lead against the Chicago Bulls, and the Bulls just never get back. They do cut it to 5 at one point, but the Pistons throw it right back up after that, and the physicality and everything just was too much for this team down the stretch of this game. So unfortunately, man, Yeah, it was a game where the Bulls just let this slip because they couldn't keep their finger on the pulse. We've talked about this team so often with their inability to play a full four quarters. You got to play a full four quarters of basketball. You just have to. And when you don't, when you let your foot off the gas and you completely let that team go, like, that's what happens, unfortunately, when it comes down to it. And we got to continue to see how this team plays and stuff like that, man. But yeah, this is a game where the Bulls just fall apart, man. And unfortunately, they don't have the players that step up during the game. Buzelis has 20 points. He's still on that good score. Vooch has 20 points as well. Ayo Dosunmu leads us in scoring coming off the bench. We'll break that down a little bit more in detail as things go on. But I just want to highlight the lack of adjustments by Billy Donovan in this game. Disgusting. And to Billy Donovan's credit, he got frustrated. He did call a timeout. It called several timeouts when the Bulls defensively started slacking, but you got to be able to make an adjustment. You can't just call a timeout and think you're going to come out and do the same thing and all of a sudden get different results because you called a goddamn timeout. And that's almost what it seemed like he was trying to do. But yeah, you got to be better than that. And the Bulls just were not good enough down the stretch of this game at all, man, at all. Hold on. But yeah, man. It was just frustrating watching this team let the lead slip away because the refs in this game were allowing the physicality to be there, and the Bulls, for the most part, over the course of it, They played physical, and I'll give them the credit for that. They matched the physicality of the Pistons throughout a large portion of this game. The Bulls won the second and third quarters of this game to keep it close, and even the first quarter they got outscored by 6, but you can't allow a team to W in the fourth quarter of the game if you want to be taken seriously, and this team does not deserve to be taken seriously when you put up fourth quarters like that. And even with the injuries, don't get me wrong, yeah, the Bulls are missing key pieces. Kobe, Josh Giddey, Jalen Smith, Zach Collins, those are all key pieces, but the Pistons were missing fucking Cade Cunningham, who's a goddamn MVP caliber player this year. I mean, the bare bottom of the MVP is probably going to be 5th or 6th in voting, but they were missing Cade Cunningham. You don't get anything. When you're missing Cade Cunningham, you're missing Jalen Duren, you don't get any excuses for missing Kobe White and missing Josh Giddey in a game like this. Injuries aren't why the Bulls lost this game. The Bulls lost this game because they didn't give a shit to fix the things down the stretch that the game went. And that's just an unfortunate part of that. You know, you gotta get it together if you want to be taken seriously. Other teams can win with injuries. Like this, you were facing another injured team. If the Bulls would have lost this game, let's say this score is the exact same and Cade Cunningham plays in this game, I'll say, hey, they gave it a try. They got outworked down the stretch. You got Cade playing at an all-star caliber level, and you lost this game. I'm not going to give you that when Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham aren't in this fucking game, bro. And not to say that Jaden Ivey only scored 8 points in this game. Sir Thompson scored 11. We know what the defensive nightmare. You let Isaiah Stewart cook you for 31 points. You don't have the Pistons don't have any players other than Isaiah Stewart that scored over 15 points. You let Isaiah Stewart cook you. He was 2 or 3 from the three-point line today. There's just no excuse for it. Now, when you look at the Bulls side of things, we were led in scoring by Ayo Dosunmu, who is one of the players I did talk about and say that I wanted to see step up in this time period with Giddey and Kobe out. 24 points on 10 of 15 shooting. He was 4-6 from the three-point line with 3 assists, 1 rebound as well, and a block in this game. Then you had Modest Buzelis. He was 7 of 15, solid night for Modest, 4-7 from the three-point line, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 blocks, and a steal from Modest Buzelis. A good active night for Modest. I would have liked to see him step up a little bit more down the stretch of this game. Only 1 assist to Nikola Vucevic for Modest Buzelis tonight. We got away from using him as a point forward in some setups. You had 20 points from Nikola Vucevic, but basically all your other starters didn't give you anything. Kevin Huerter, 28 minutes, 8 points, 4-13 from the field. Isaac Okoro, 1 of 4, 2 points. Trey Jones, 1 of 7, 12 assists though, so shout out to that, 7 rebounds, but 3 turnovers in a game like this. And unfortunately, like the Bulls, they get 24 points. The bench numbers overall look pretty good, but that's because Ayo scored 24 points. What do you want, boy? You want to pick? I'm trying to think where my pick is. Oh, here it goes. Give me my pick back. This is my favorite pick. Give me my pick back. You came and interrupted me. You know what that means. You already know. You got to get closer to the mic. Bend down. Get closer to the mic so they can hear you.
My voice ain't that deep.
Your voice is deep as hell, bro. It's almost as deep as mine.
Oh, my gosh.
This shirt getting a little young, ain't it, bro? You holding on to that? Is that your favorite pajama shirt? Yeah. Yeah? Okay. I love you. All right. Did you put conditioner in it? All right. Don't be dry picking your hair. That's how you mess stuff up. All right. I love you. I don't even remember the point I was making now. Shout out to my son. Turn that light off when you go upstairs, Buddha, okay? All right. But, yeah, man, the Bulls just, you know, that's what I was on. I would have liked to see Modest Buzelis be a little bit more aggressive offensively down the stretch of the game. And I'd like to see us get back to using him more as a point forward. Like, you don't have a lot of players that can create their own shot. Modest is kind of on the borderline. Like, I've seen some times where Modest can create his own shot. I do think Modest has a tight dribble. I do think he understands how to create space to create his own shot. I just think that we haven't really used that part of his game a lot. So when he is called to do it, you see a little bit of a trepidation there from him. But overall, I would just like to see Modest Buzelis start getting more opportunities to create for others, those type of things. His shooting today, all of his shots were assisted. So there you go on that one. I would just love to see Modest get a little bit more opportunity to create his own shot because you need him to learn that, right? You need more players that can create their own shot on this team, and Modest Buzelis has the potential to do that a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to all of a sudden turn into like a Kobe White self-creator as far as open shots, but I'm just saying that if you want to build Modest up, if you like, Greg Popovich had the best analogy to use on how to develop, and it's like Legos. You lay down a base, and then every year you add a new kind of challenge for a player, and you see how they're going to do to see if you can trust them to do that. This opportunity is golden for Billy Donovan to try to allow Modest to create his own shot a little bit more. I'd just like to see him get a little bit more of those opportunities, but we'll see what happens with that one. But overall, man, disappointing loss by the Bulls. Very, very disappointing loss by the Chicago Bulls in this one, man, because this was a winnable game, and you need to get as many of these winnable games that you can, especially while you have players out. That way, once everybody comes back, you haven't completely fallen behind the 8-ball. Now, it is the Eastern Conference. Things are really tight in the East, but you want to be able to get, like, winnable games, letting those get away too often. Those are things that really just bite you in the ass. So, we'll see what the Bulls can do. They're going to a stretch where they have one of the more difficult records left in the NBA, so we'll see if they're able to come out of that. But overall, man, frustrated by this loss because this was a loss that you could have at least made it more competitive. I would have been fine with a loss if you didn't allow yourself to get completely taken out of the game in the fourth quarter. The Pistons bitched you around. I mean, just to be frank, the Pistons looked you in your eye, snatched your food, grabbed your woman's ass, and punched you in the face, and you thanked them for it. And that's what happened in the fourth quarter of this game, and it's just unacceptable. It's unacceptable for that to be there, man. D-Web says, I'm all right with being bad, but you have seen a more soft Bulls team, bro. Those pre-Rose Bulls team weren't the greatest, but they were hard out every night. When was the last time we had a hard screen? Well, we do have hard screens. We have hard screens actually pretty consistently. But that doesn't mean that the team doesn't need to toughen up. They do. And that's why we talk about, like, the identity with this team. Bulls are up 1. I just took a shower, and they were down double digits. And that's how quick it happened. I mean, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. First of all, the fact that you take showers that quick is disgusting. You need to wash your ass more thoroughly. That's what you need to do. If you in the shower any less than 15, 20 minutes, you're doing it wrong. But I'm not going to judge you for that. You're a dirty motherfucker. I'm not going to judge you for that. We calling you Dirty Dick Jigs from now on. That's what we calling you. But outside of that, Jigs, I agree with you. Like, there was a team that showed up in the fourth quarter of this game, and they realized, hey, we're just going to put this shit away. That was the Pistons. The Bulls had no answer for it. The Pistons showed up in the fourth quarter and said, no, this us. We got this. What you got for us? And the Bulls said, we ain't got nothing for you, sir. And that's how it happened. You look at just how the Bulls got outworked. In the fourth quarter of this game, they outscored us 18 points in the paint to 4. They outscored us in second chance points 5-3. They outscored us in fast break points 2-0. They outscored us in bench points 20-8. Everything. We had 5 turnovers in the fourth quarter. They had none. They had 7 points off turnovers. We had none. Thanks, son. Love you. Good night. You going to sleep? Yeah, I was about to say, you still got an hour before bedtime. What you about to do? You want some? Hey. You want some ice cream when I get done with this? All right. But so in the fourth quarter, they just outworked us in every stretch of the imagination in the fourth quarter of this game. So yeah, that's you can't allow that to happen. We need someone that can take over in the fourth and make sure we can score. Games like this makes me miss DeRozan. Hey, you know what? That's honestly not a bad take. I can't even fault that take at all because yeah, I mean, you need somebody in the fourth quarter who, even if they can't take over, they can get you a fucking bucket, right? We didn't have that today at all. Trae Young just got traded to the Wizards. It's official. Shout out to that. I don't want to hear injuries when it comes to the same because the Boston subjects. Shay, what the my nigga. My nigga, bro, hold on, wait a second. Let's go over the typos here. Hold on. I don't want to hear injury when it comes to the same. I'm sure you meant team there. Then you said because the Boston subjects are a second. The Boston subjects? Bro, your autocorrect fails you every night, bro. Every single night. It fails you every single night. That's crazy. The Boston subjects? That's crazy. That's wild. That's actually an insane typo right there. That's crazy. D-Web in the building says, at least with Shay has infected all y'all keyboards. At least with Modest, I don't say, oh, shit, like when I see Terry or P. Will dribble for more than 2 seconds. I'll give him that. Listen, Modest can dribble. I think, like, here's the thing, right? When you aren't given a lot of opportunities to be on ball, it's hard to understand. Like, if you go and watch Modest with workouts, he's worked with dribble too much. Modest can dribble the ball, but you have to have it in game. Anybody can dribble a ball in space in a gym, right? You need to simulate. You need to actually do it in game so you can understand when players aren't taking it easy on you. You can understand the speed and the length. When can you go high? When can you go low? And that's why I wanted to see Billy Donovan give him more opportunities. So, Haize, I want you to take a look at the Pistons right now without their two best stars. Sometimes when you come out with energy and effort, you win a lot of games that you're not. Oh, facts, and we've been a team that's been able to do that before. Look at the team that had Nate Robinson as the starting point guard, right? Like, we've seen that here in Chicago before. We know tough teams. We've seen tough teams. That's why Chicago respects tough teams so much. You need those tough teams. You need those. Not trying to blame Billy for everything, but damn, bro, when your team is not coming out ready to play and there's this close to the fourth quarter, it sounds like a you problem. I don't disagree with you. Don't disagree with you at all. Disappointing loss of words, loss of frustration. Absolutely. Absolutely. Modest and Ayo were hooping, played physical through three quarters, then just gave up in the fourth. Go Bulls. Yeah, it's frustrating there. GG, nothing but respect to you, Haize. Appreciate that, Don. Shout out to you, brother. To your point, regardless of the lack of talent compared to the Pistons, it goes to leadership issue with this team, to why we lose under 500 teams or teams with major. You're not wrong. Not wrong there, Melvin, at all. That's 100% spot on. Who shows more fight only if you score on him when the game is over? That's funny. That's funny. Modest just needs to get bigger. He get knocked off balance too easy. Yeah, I mean, and Modest is going to get stronger. He's naturally going to get stronger for sure. You putting in that dad duty is a better highlight than watching these Bulls. Salute, homie, salute. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Trade to we already talked about it. This is not NBA Central. We'll talk about that when I'll do NBA Central after this. Haize, I don't know if I like Albrecht. I like Albrecht, but I like him in the scope of what he's probably going to be if he ever makes the NBA, and that's the third or fourth big man. That's a rotational big that you see out there occasionally. I don't know. We'll see how he develops, and I'm not putting a cap on him yet. We'll see how he develops, but right now, I mean, the ceiling for Lachlan is just a end of rotational big. And if you get that out, if you are able to get that out of a second-round pick, that's better than most second-round picks end up turning out. I know it has nothing to do with the Bulls, but the Hawks just listen. We already have talked. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all like this. If y'all see news happen 5 minutes later, the chances are the chat's already talked about it. Aubrey get more fouls than points, but that man killing it in the G League. I mean, yeah, you gotta. That's why G League production is not NBA production, right? The way Albrecht moves reminds me of Felicio. Hopefully he becomes a better player than him. I don't see nothing in Felicio when you look at Albrecht at all. Albrecht needs more time efficiently in the NBA. I agree with that too. I agree with that. Albrecht is another Marco. No, he's not. Not at all. Marco couldn't even get on the floor other than to get dunked on. I miss Joakim Noah's leadership on the Bulls, bro. Remember the 2013 game, 7 Nets game? Our players were hurt. Noah said before the game, we're not going to lose. We need someone like that. I mean, yeah, every team needs a player like that. Every winning team needs a player like that, for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. What's been up with Jones lately? Listen, this is why Trey Jones is not a main starting point guard. And I don't mean that as a knock. I just mean that Trey Jones is a really good complementary player. He is a role player. That's what Trey Jones is. And he's really good in that role. When you have to rely on Trey Jones to be like your starter or night in, night out, it's not always going to be consistent with it. Now, he still got 12 assists tonight. He still got a number of rebounds. Being one of the shortest players on the court, coming up with the rebounds he came up with, he didn't give you a net zero, but he's just not consistent offensively. He's consistent with his passing. He's consistent at not really having a high turnover margin. He's going to do those things. But when you need to rely on his scoring, he's way too inconsistent for you to ever reliably rely on him, or consistently rely on him is the way that I should have worded that. Bulls should have gave Mo Bamba. No, they shouldn't. Why do y'all want bad basketball players? Mo Bamba is not good. Mo Bamba's not a good basketball player. A 10-day contract to Mo Bamba won't do shit for you. Nothing. Stop with the Mo Bamba. Stop with the Bowl. Stop with all that bullshit. And for you motherfuckers that once every 6 weeks say bring Dwight Howard back into the NBA, fuck your mama. Stop with that shit. Stop with the dumb shit. Stop with that. Patrick Williams is a big problem. No, he's not, because once everybody's healthy, Patrick Williams' ass ain't playing. Like that's the fact of the matter. It's just we haven't been able to stay healthy. But the little bit of stretch that we were healthy, Patrick Williams is averaging like less than 3 minutes. So I would take Bronny over P. Will. You going from a turd to a shit pile in that case. Like, okay, cool. It's still shit in your hand either way. I'm just telling you with that one. Dwight, bro, I'm telling once every 6 weeks somebody comes in here, man. What the hell? What the damn hell? That's crazy. That's crazy. In 2 games versus Pistons, we made Isaiah Stewart and Paul Reed look like Bill Russell and Tim Duncan. That's a fucking bar because you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Hawks win the trade just by getting off Trae Young. Haize, I know coaching is a hard job, but sometimes telling players to do what got them a lead is the very most simplest thing, especially when it comes to basketball. Yeah, but it's not that simple when you have teams that are actually – the Detroit Pistons are the second best defensive team in basketball because they actually adjust. So it's not easy against a team like the Pistons to just say, go out there and do what got you the lead because the Pistons have adjusted to how they're guarding you. So it's not always that simple, Shay. We're not trading for Giannis. Stop that. We're not trading for Giannis. Right. What should the expectations for this team be? I mean, honestly, SG, until we're fully healthy for more than a week, I really don't know what to say. Safe bet is the 9th or 10th seed in the play-in. If you just want to play it safe, but, I mean, to be fair, we've only had a week of this team being fully healthy. And over that week, we went 5-0. So I really can't say what the expectations are because we really have not seen a huge sample size of this team being fully healthy. Now, the likelihood of us being fully healthy for the remainder of the season is also pretty slim. So if you want to say safe bet, I'd say 9th or 10th seed in the Eastern Conference, just because that seems to be always where we are. That's the safest bet to make about this team. We competed, just got beaten by a bigger, stronger team. We competed through 3 quarters. We didn't compete at all in the 4th quarter. Not at all in the 4th quarter. Got our ass kicked at it. So there you go. And that's what comes down to it. But overall, we'll see what happens with this team. We'll see how they grow. We'll see how they develop. On what happens overall, man. Make sure you guys are following us at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. BullCentralPod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, stay safe, go Bulls, and see red if you can, y'all. Love you guys. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.